Now, not only are there 6 different playable characters within Dead Island 2, every single person that plays the game has their own playstyle, and of course they are their own unique player, and in this video we'll be going over 14 different types of Dead Island 2 players. Now I'm confident that at least one of these, if not multiple of these, will be somewhat like how you play the game. We'll be going over people that love certain things and people that hate certain things within Dead Island 2. 14 different types of Dead Island 2 players. So let's waste no more time and let's get straight into the video. So first of all, there is the looter. Now this player is always looking for extra loot, extra scraps, whatever they can find lying around the place. You and a friend might be about to go to a new area and, well, you're waiting for the looter to be able to finish up whatever they're doing. No matter what it is, they are picking it up, and their inventory is of course always going to be full, since they're always picking up absolutely everything they see. Even if they know it's going to respawn in 30 seconds, they'll still pick it up, and then they'll pick it up again when it does respawn. The looter is just picking up absolutely everything, and of course always looting. Along with that, they seem to never actually do anything useful with this loot. To be honest, they're a pretty average player when it comes to the game. They're picking up all of this loot and literally utilizing none of it. So next up is the Slayer, and this person is always killing zombies even in places where they just keep on respawning, meaning that they're getting through their weapons very easily. This player is literally, no matter what, always in combat. They see a zombie, they're after it, and they're going to try and kill it, no matter their health and no matter what durability their weapon is on. And chances are pretty much all of their weapons are always broken, since they're literally always in combat. They're always trying to kill as many zombies as they possibly can. Even if it means dying a couple of times, the Slayer will, no matter what, always be in combat. So the third type of player within Dead Island 2 is called the Arsenal, and now this person is always stacked up on weapons. They give out weapons for free sometimes as well. They get through weapons very easily and are always at a workbench upgrading and repairing certain weapons. This player just loves weapons, whether that's melee weapons, throwable weapons, or even guns. They will be making sure that their weapons are fully upgraded, fully repaired, and they are always stacked up on them. Chances are they'll always be dropping random weapons on the floor, since they are replacing them with brand new ones. This person is just hooked to weapons within the game, and yeah, they're always replacing and upgrading and repairing the weapons that they have, so chances are you'll find this sort of player at a workbench at all times. Along with that, they seem to literally never utilize these weapons, just like with the looter that never utilizes the loot. This player seems to pretty much never actually use half of the weapons that they use. They pick up all of these weapons, upgrade all of them, and then to be honest, they just stick to one when they are in combat, just using the same weapon for all different types of scenarios, even though they've got absolutely loads. So the fourth type of Dead Island 2 player is the tank. Now this person is always taking damage, but they take it very well. They're always stacked up on medkits and also having energy bars and everything like that all of the time, but they never die, but along with that, they never deal damage. So to be honest, they're really not that great at combat, so whilst they can take a lot and they are using a character that has quite a lot of health, they are terrible when it comes to dealing damage. So they're pretty useless, to be honest, a lot of the time, since they're just taking loads of damage, but they're never actually dealing any, and they're just using medkits as well, making them pretty pointless when it comes to helping out the team. So now we are on to the fifth type of Dead Island 2 player, which is the opposite of the tank player, and this is the damage dealer. Now this person dies all of the time, but they are dealing lots and lots of damage. They never have any medkits on them, and their weapons are always breaking. They may be just about to die, they may be literally on 0 health, but they will still go into combat and try to deal as much damage as possible before they do die. And their weapons, yeah, they're always breaking, they're always using terrible weapons, maybe they're just using a wooden bat, but no matter what, they'll be getting into combat and they will make sure that they are dealing as much damage as they can, but they are taking way too much damage as well, and they're using a character with very little health but very high agility and deals a lot of damage, making them fairly useful, but at the same time they're always dead, so if you're playing multiplayer, you're having to revive them all of the time. So now we are on to the sixth type of Dead Island 2 player, and this person is called the Bankman. Now in a way, this player is quite similar to the looter in that they're always looking for items, but they're only looking for one specific type of item, and that is cash. They're always looking for cash, trying to get rich, and chances are they are very rich and can buy literally anything and everything. They don't care for any other loot other than cash. They'll be opening all of the safes, looting all of the cash off of the floor, and looking in all of the little nooks and crannies to make sure they're getting all the cash possible, to make them as rich as possible. This type of player might not actually be involved in that much combat, but they're always looking for cash within the game, and yeah, of course, they are going to be very rich, since this is what they spend all of their time doing. So, we're on to the seventh type of Dead Island 2 player, and this player is called the Socializer, and they only ever play co-op. They never ever play the game alone. Maybe they're too bad to play the game alone, or maybe they're even too scared. But this player is always playing with friends. They're never ever playing alone. They just seem to be allergic to playing the game in single player. They'll only ever play the game in co-op, or they'll just be playing something else. So now we are on to the 8th type of Dead Island 2 player, and this is the show-off. Now this player always has absolutely insane weapons. They're just able to one-hit absolutely every single zombie that they see, making the combat look stupid easy to the players that are new to the game and don't have quite as powerful weapons. Their weapons are just absolutely insane. They've got a good amount of cash, they've got a good amount of loot, they are just set to go. They never mess about, they're getting straight in that combat and they're killing all of the zombies in seconds, since they're just one-hitting absolutely every single zombie in sight. They're pretty insane at the game, and they are definitely a bit of a show-off. So now we're on to the 9th type of Dead Island 2 player, and this is the weapon lover. Now they use the exact same weapon for their entire playthrough, similar to the arsenal, but in this case they're not collecting all the weapons they see, they are just using one weapon throughout their entire playthrough. This weapon they find very early on in the game, then they upgrade it and repair it for their entire playthrough of Dead Island 2. They seem to absolutely love this weapon and have, you know, a special place in their hearts for this weapon. So yeah, they are just literally stuck to that one weapon for their entire playthrough. So now we're on to the 10th type of Dead Island 2 player, and that is the gunman. This player absolutely hates melee weapons. They will only use guns at all times. Chances are they might use a couple throwable weapons, but generally speaking, they're not a big fan of those either. They only ever use guns. They love the firearms in the game, and that is all they will use. They're literally allergic to using melee weapons within Dead Island 2. They look at them, they never pick them up, and they just never use them. Guns are the only thing that they use. They'll modify their guns, they'll upgrade their guns, and they'll repair them as much as they can, making sure that their firearms are always available for use at all times. No matter the situation, maybe a firearm is awful in a certain situation, they'll make sure that they're still using it, even if it causes them to die. So now we're on to the 11th type of Dead Island 2 player, and this player is called the Die or Die. They are always rushing into combat no matter what. They're always low on health and always using weapons like a wooden bat, since their weapons are always broken. This player is pretty terrible at dealing damage too. They'll literally deal a couple pixels of damage and then they'll just die, then they'll respawn, and then they'll do it all over again and again and again. This player, yeah, pretty terrible at combat, but they're also addicted to combat. No matter what, they'll have no health, they will rush into combat and make sure they just deal a bit of damage before they die, and chances are the damage they deal will be next to nothing, and that player is called the Die or Die. So now we are on to the 12th type of Dead Island 2 player, and this player is called the No Messer. This player never loots. They don't get into too much combat either. All they want to do is complete those main quests and call it a day. They'll complete those main missions and then, well, they'll probably just delete the game. That's all they want to do. They want to get through the story and call it a day, and that's all they will literally ever do within Dead Island 2. They leave most of the combat and they leave all of the optional stuff. They'll skip all of the side quests. They just want to complete the main story missions, and that will be that. They really just don't want to mess about at all. And now we're on to the 13th type of Dead Island 2 player, and that is the Completionist. This player is the opposite, of course, to the No Messer. They want to complete absolutely everything. They'll complete all of the side quests. They'll make sure they collect absolutely everything in the game. Lots of loot too, similar to the Looter. They may even complete the game 6 times with each different playable character. They'll be completing absolutely everything that the game has to offer, spending hundreds of hours on the game before they eventually move on. So now we are on to the 14th and final type of Dead Island 2 player, and that is the Noob. This player is always dead, they have no good items, and they're just absolutely awful at the game. To be honest, they may as well have just never bought Dead Island 2 in the first place. And there you go, those are 14 different types of Dead Island 2 players. Personally, I have to say I'm probably a bit of a Die or Die. I'm terrible at combat, I'm always rushing in, and my weapons are literally always broken for some reason. I have no idea why. But there you go, that does just about wrap up things here, and I would love to hear which player you are down in the comments below. Maybe you're a bankman, maybe you love having cash and love to make sure that you're always rich, or maybe you're a bit of a looter, you always like looting and you make sure you pick up absolutely everything in your sight. Be sure to let me know down in the comments, because I'm genuinely really interested to see what type of Dead Island 2 player you are. But yeah, that does just about wrap up things here. Now on screen now you're seeing a link to a video where I did a complete beginner's guide to Dead Island 2. Hit the link on the screen if you are interested in watching that.